You're gonna have a tough time topping that one. Our last speaker of the night is past Supreme President Rick Pecca. And for those of you who don't know, Rick just received his teaching certificate. So those on your phone or talking during his speech, beware. He might try to give you detention. Mr. Rick Pecca.
Sure, you let the teacher follow the aspiring attorney. Perfect! Before I say word one about tonight's honoree, I'm contractually obligated to say a few words about my father. Now, Mom and Dad have been married for more than 43 years, going on 44 in October. If you were to ask my father for his thoughts on this...
Long sentence.
What I was going to say is, he would tell you, if I killed her on my wedding night, I would have been out by now. Dad is famous for characterizing his marriage to my mother by saying, I could have had a V8. You know, the old adage goes, behind every great man is a strong woman. My father is proof positive that the same holds true for every halfway decent man as well. To Brian's point, my dad does think he thinks that he deserves sainthood for being married to my mother. But for now, he'll have to settle for a round of applause. You know, I remember when I was on the Sun Supreme Lodge many years ago, there was a young woman on the Grand Lodge for the Maids of Athena with whom I worked very closely. She was about 5'3", task-oriented, very driven, intense, and completely unafraid to speak her mind. In fact, she really didn't care who fell under her treads if there was a task to get done. So I bestowed upon her the nickname, the General, which she loved, and she holds it to this day. And she asked me, where did you come up with this nickname? Why am I the General? And I told her simply, you remind me of my mother. Although the truth is, my mom could give even George S. Patton a run for his money. She could give most presidents a run for their money. Now, Teddy Roosevelt was famous for saying, I speak softly and I carry a big stick. If you know Penny, you know she doesn't speak softly, and she doesn't need a stick. But there can't be two generals in my life, because that's just too much for me. So I had to bestow upon her a new nickname, the Penisher. Most of us, when we were growing up, if we were in trouble or if we misbehaved, we got punished, right? I lived with Penny. I got punished. Believe me when I tell you, it's much worse. If I was out of line as a kid, my mother would threaten me with the slipper. Better behave or the slipper's coming out. And that was all that it would take. I would wind up crying in a fetal position, begging for forgiveness. Mind you, she never once used the slipper. She never even grabbed the slipper. I never even saw the slipper. That's a testament to how convincing my mother is. But I'm not here to honor my mom's disciplinary techniques. We're here tonight to acknowledge her contributions to our community, to the Ahepa family, to her family as well. But, you know, quite frankly, all of her honors, they're on the back of the program. And there's so much that you wouldn't know about this woman unless you grew up in a household with her. That's the only reason I'm here. For example, my mother loses her eyeglasses on average of at least twice a week and misplaces her cup of coffee at least 3 times a day. This woman can handle complex union negotiations, arranging and organizing initiations and meetings for the Daughters of Penelope, fundraisers, banquets, running the money team for the Greek festival. Somehow, glasses and coffee, just beyond her. True story, one time she lost her glasses, and we found them in the dishwasher. We called Unsolved Mysteries, but they couldn't crack the case. Moreover, my mom's influence goes just beyond the Ahepa family in our church. Even within her own family, she has a great deal of influence. For example, my father's beverage of choice, Scotch, is all because of my mother. You see, one night many moons before I was merely a twinkle in my dad's eye, he had kind of a rough night at the Wacky Grill in downtown Waterbury. George, you were there. You were there. Involving a few black and tans, and he came home a little worse for wear. So my mother decided that he needed some kind of drink that would not leave him in such shambles. So she decided, you're going to have Scotch from now on. That was his assignment. He stuck to it ever since. And the only reason he drinks Scotch is because that's what she drank at the time. So when he's had a few, you have her to thank. And if it wasn't for her, who knows? He could have been on the pina coladas. My mom does love her booze, I must say. Hey, I'm one of the only people who could lay claim to having tequila shots with my mom, lime, salt, and all. True story. And she handled it like a champ. But, as was mentioned, her favorite beverage of choice at a social event such as this is vodka, typically Grey Goose on ice, with 3 olives. Art, you got a sec?